definitely having problems.
And these are the new phones.
Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go live, and we're gonna see, starting the video. Hopefully, we'll be able to. Okay, so we're
Right, we're live. Wow.
We're live now.
We have a CF with these new phones we're learning about
Go
tonight.
ahead and we'll run. So much fun. All right, there you go. You are now live.
Wow. What a night.
What a night.
What a day. I've been driving all
Hey,
over.
Vicky's with us. Hi, Vicky.
I left this morning at like 5:45 to go pick up parts for the heater that nobody knew about, and I left and then got a message to go back because it was a different guy that had the parts for the heater. So I went back and picked it up, and then I was just driving. I did a ton of stops. I didn't get back to the shop till noon, but it was all right. I got a lot of stuff done, and it was nice. It was drizzling. Trimmed evergreen for a lady today. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, getting stuff ready. We were cleaning up Lorraine Armstrong's yard today. It was nice to be able to go out and do stuff. I usually don't get to go out and do stuff, but I trimmed her blue-white pine the way Lisa and I were trimming ours, so it would be a little bit more compact and off her house. And this is one of the implements of destruction that I was using, pruners. And I also used some new telescopic pruners, and they're about the tips of them are about this size, and it worked really well for reaching up. I didn't have to get on a ladder very much at all, but now's the time to be getting the garden ready for the winter. And we were cutting hostas back and all sorts of different stuff. The heuchera we don't cut down too much. We just take the tops off a little bit. They had a whole bunch of dead seed heads on it and things like that. And spireas we cut back, took about a foot off the burning bush, and just got things cleaned up. And that spireas you can cut way back really well. Lisa's got some pictures that she's going to be able to show you of one of our projects that the guys were doing.
Do you want me to do that now?
Yeah, why don't you show them that, and we can talk a little bit about that, and then we got some other stuff we're going to talk about too. So
Okay.
this is at Sandy Wolf's house, and you can see like the hydrangeas, and in front I think there's some coreopsis and the mop cypress. She wants a couple of them taken out, so there's more room for the hibiscus. She really likes her hibiscus and stuff like that. So, and they trim those down. The hibiscus we trim down to probably about maybe about a foot, high, so they can be able to be seen next spring, because they come up so late. So be patient with your hibiscus. They come up very late in the spring. That's why we want to leave like a foot high.
Just so you can see them.
Yeah, just so you can see the stalks where they're at, so like if you're digging around or doing something in the spring, you're not chopping those out. Tonight,
Stewart's already giving you grief.
Stewarts Pain in the ass.
You want me to? I'm going to put it up there.
Oh, whatever.
He's like, if anyone can put someone to sleep, it's Bud. Thanks, Stewart.
That's because you're old, Stewart. Drink your Geritol. One of the things I talked about earlier, not tonight, but before, is about delivering and getting tips in beer. This is one of the tips I got today from our friend Kirk Pfeiffer, who is the connoisseur of beer, and he's probably got, his refrigerator probably has at least 60, 70 different kinds of beer in it.
What kind of beer is that?
This is Indian Pale Ale. It's from Walking. It's called Chopping Wood Festa beer. And it's from, oh gosh, now I can't remember the name of the freaking, from Mountains Walking Brewery in Bozeman, Montana. Now this one, and it's really cool, all the stuff he gave me had really cool art on the can. They're really, really cool. And the reason I chose this one is because it's the least high in alcohol. Thanks, Kirk. This one this is 6%. The other ones were 8.3, 9, and 12. So I didn't want to get wasted telling you how to trim your trees when I'm, might cut my finger off or something, But anyway, so I got a nice little tip. I had to pick up his planters that we're going to transplant, and he had some pots, and every pot I turned over had beer under it. So it was kind of a nice surprise. I smiled real big.
Hey, Lundstrom Florist is still waiting for you to come by and say hi.
I was talking about you today. And I will, I'll try to get by and see you, because I would like to go inside and see what it looks like compared to what it was back in 1973. So, and I'm sure it's changed. But yes.
Jim Sarver's talking about Green Bay Packers already.
Oh,
but we've got to actually have a gardening question. I don't know if you'd like to.
Well, let me address Jim first.
Okay.
Jim, I didn't go to sleep for like an hour and a half after that game last night because I was so wound up. We should have had 2 more touchdowns, but I tell you what, they did remarkably well with all 3 top wide receivers out, an all-pro offensive tackle out, and an all-pro cornerback out against a team that was undefeated. So I think we did really well. I just wish the defense could play a little better, but we should have had 14 more points. It shouldn't have been as close as it was, but the Pack won, so that's all that counts. And we lost Tanya. That's the bad part. Anyway, gardening question.
Well, yeah, Jackie's asking about hydrangea trees for winter, and I just wonder,
well,
you want to do one of that one video where Quinn's cutting?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can just talk about it?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to
That's probably a good thing just to do the video. We don't have to show all the pics.
All right, but focus on those hydrangeas.
Yeah.
So we got 1 and 2. There you go.
Yeah, Quinn's cutting the hydrangeas down here. These are pinky winkies. And you could cut them even a little lower. I would have cut them lower if I was doing it. And you can see he's cutting the grass. Sandy wanted the grass cut down. Those are and you can see what he uses for doing it so they can do it a little faster. Those are Weigelia that he's cutting on, and you can really cut those down too. Don't be afraid to cut those Weigelias back, to 18 inches above the ground. It just makes them a lot better.
So he could go a little lower.
Yeah, he could go a little bit lower. The guys have what they call trim phobia. And it all stems from one time cutting something, and they got a whole bunch of complaints thrown at him for cutting stuff. So he's real apprehensive about cutting things. So I just next year when they go down to Sandy's, I'm going to go down and show them to cut it down a little bit lower, and the hydrangeas too. Lisa cut our pinky winkies down really nice. Back a little bit farther, and we butchered them this year. Remember how we butchered them?
I took them about almost halfway back.
Right, but you remember how we butchered them prior to them even like leafing out? We thought like, hell, we're not going to get anything, and we got a whole bunch of flowers on them. But one of the other implements of destruction that you can use, pruners for the big stems, and the other thing that I use too. This is a really nice. It's not an expensive one, but it's a pruning saw. These work really well for sawing branches and getting in tight spots where the chainsaw and stuff really can't, or you can't use a chainsaw and you're in a certain predicament. But, the stuff's starting to go dormant, so it's ready to do. The roses you can trim down, like the drift roses, you can trim them down to probably about a foot off the ground. And if we get a lot of snow, like last year, we had snow cover through most of the bad part of the winter, then you won't have any dieback, but you'll be able to see on the roses a lot of the dieback because it'll be black and then it'll be green, and then in the spring you just cut that black part off if it dies back any farther. This year there wasn't hardly any dieback because, like I said, the snow. If your grasses are real stiff and real nice and solid and big, that you could leave them up over the winter, you're supposed to do that. But you know, these wet snows, all it takes is one wet snow, and like if you had Carl Forster, it's a really nice grass, but man, it'd be flattened down. And the perennials, like I said, Quinn was cutting Coreopsis back, and you can cut that down to 6 inches with no problem. The Nepeta is the same way. The catmint that we use a lot of, you can cut that back. The Little Henry's Virginia Sweet Spires, which we use a lot of also. Quinn cut one back today at Lorraine's, but it was Virginia Sweet Spire. It wasn't Little Henry. It was pretty big, but you could see the really nice fall coloring start to get on it. It was kind of orangey red. It was really nice. That's one good thing about Little Henry. It gives you like almost 3 seasons of interest during the winter. The stems are kind of green, so it's really cool.
I don't know which thing he's referring to, but Tim McNinch says he prunes his back to 6 inches and they come back strong. Should I stay at 18? I wonder if he's talking about Weigelia.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Or the Spirea.
Or Spirea. Yeah. Tim, just let me know which plant you were talking about.
Spireas can take a real brutal cutting. Yeah. And you want to do that.
Yeah.
This is really good beer. Kirk, and he was really disappointed because I came out there today to pick this stuff up and he was going to be gone because he likes to sit and talk, and I haven't talked with him for a while. We usually sit in his back deck and pour some beer down. So I told him I promised him I'd be out.
Tim answered. He said hydrangea.
Wow. Okay.
6 inches.
Well, I just wonder if they're Annabelles. If they're, like Annabelles, which are the old-fashioned ones that were, if you go by some houses that were built in the early 1900s, late 1800s, Annabelle hydrangeas are great, and you can trim those down to 6 inches high easily with no problem. Like on the corner of Locust and 3rd Street today, the guys trimmed the hydrangeas, the Annabelle hydrangeas, down to the ground. I mean, you can't see them, and they come up and bloom every year. It's a really old-fashioned, reliable variety.
Debbie Vaughn's got a great question.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, how can we protect Japanese maples? We lost one a few years ago.
Well, there's a couple things you can do. First, don't plant them anywhere where they're going to get northwest wind. And one of the key things that, and I talked to John Carlson about this years back, is about the warming and thawing. If it's in a spot where the sun's going to hit it and it's going to warm up during the winter and then we get real cold, it's real hard on the Japanese maple. The other thing you can do, and I've seen the people do it, is to put some stakes in the ground and put burlap around the tree to protect it from the wind. We've gotten a lot of rain, you guys, here in the last couple weeks, which has been really good going into the fall here. So the plants, I think, should be okay. We put all our hoses away, so we're not going to do any additional watering, but that's the other thing. You want to make sure that the plants are all hydrated going into the winter. That brings me to a little video that Lisa has on wilt proofing.
You want me to just run that?
Yeah, run the video, and I can talk about it while she runs it. This is me in the garage, and that's me poking a hole in the, let me get you the I'll show you it right here. The trans film. I'll get it up here and get it ready. But I'm mixing it up. And what it is it's basically kind of like, it puts like a thin wax coating on your evergreens. And this is something that you're going to want to do to, especially, I talked to Larry McCormick today, and he said he's recommending spraying all the arborvitaes that you planted. This was Chief Joseph that I was spraying, and you can see when I spray till it just runs off and you can see it dripping. And this will help protect it. This is the same stuff we use on our wreaths and porch pots that we do for Christmas and things like that. And I also sprayed, I think it was the pixie dust. Those are whipcord arborvitaes, I think. But here I'm going to go spray a pixie dust. These things tend to winter burn. It's an type of Alberta spruce. I have a backpack sprayer where I'm going to go out this week and I'll spray. We had some big jobs where we put arborvitaes up, and we're going to spray those, and we're going to spray all our arborvitaes too. But wilt proof is what you're going to want to get. This is what we use. We use this trans film because this is what we have on hand. It's just like wilt proof. It's just a different version.
A different brand.
I'm sorry. Larry McCormick, I talked to Larry today, and he was saying that, you know, all the arborvitaes that he has planted, and he suggested that we spray with wilt proof before it gets freezing cold out. So we're going to do that. I'm going to do this Monday. Probably go out and spray. But you can go to Larry. He has it on hand to buy. But it's called wilt proof, and it's real easy to use, and it's not real toxic. You know, I mean, don't drink it. You know, drink beer. Don't drink wilt proof.
Well, and then too, you don't have to get a big backpack sprayer. You know, Menards has those little 1 gallon
sprayers that you can use if you don't have a lot of arborvitaes. Now at Corey Gabler's house, I've got huge 8-foot arborvitaes, and I'm probably going to go through a couple backpack sprayers full of spray, but I'm going to go out and spray his. I'm going to spray all ours in our yard. I'm going to spray down on Avenue G where we planted some new arborvitaes again this year and stuff. So it's just a good idea to do that.
Betsy Kelly Miller's got a question.
Yep.
She's like, you cut back spirea, do you have to?
No. Now, the ones that we have at County Market in Sterling, they're under locust trees, and they haven't grown really well. They're a lot bigger than what they were when we first started taking care of it about 8 years ago. I fertilized them and didn't hack them back all the way to the ground, so they're getting, because there's room for them to get big. There's no reason that you can't let those spireas get big. Sometimes they get dead in them, and when you trim them back, all the new growth looks a lot better. Now, Tim McNinch's spireas, he's going to want to make sure he trims back, because all that new growth is going to be, he's got...
they put on their show in the spring, right?
Yeah, he's got the... fire, or I can't remember what type of flame, gold flame. And so what they're going to do is they're going to be gold with all red tips with the new growth. So they'll look really good. And then during the summer they kind of wash out a little bit. But those gold flames are ones you definitely want to trim back some.
Cool.
Any other questions before we go on to?
No. Jim's just talking about.
What's he saying about the Packers?
Okay, fine.
Did you go to the game, Jim?
Okay, fine. He said, I found a great bar and a grill up where their best-selling beers are Pabst, Hams, Old Style, and they cover all the Packer games.
Boy, Jim, you can tell your age, those beers. Oh, my God. Pabst, Hams, Land of the Sky Blue Water. Yeah. PBR is really kind of retro. The young kids like drinking that. One of the other things I wanted to talk about tonight, and if anybody's got questions on putting a garden to sleep, you know, you can prune, and somebody asked about pruning the trees. Now, if you're going to take any sizable limbs and stuff off, I'd wait till it got really cold. Or you can wait till like February. You know how sometimes in February I'll go out and the crab, our weeping crab out front, what I'll do is I'll wait for a day where it's sunny out and it might be like 39 degrees or whatever, it warms up a little bit. And it isn't bad out, you dress all right, and you can cut, and that way the sap isn't flowing and it won't, you know, have a lot of bleeding and that. So anything like that, I would kind of wait on cutting some big limbs if you can on that. But other than that, you know, the perennials, you don't have to trim the perennials down if you don't want to. You can let the leaves blow in on them and help. That'll help protect them during the winter. And I used to do that, and then I would clean everything off in the spring. But now with the way our business is, I don't have time in the spring to do anything. I don't have time really in the fall to do anything either. That's why we got all evergreens. We don't have hardly any perennials.
I think last December.
Yeah, we cleaned our yard.
Once we went past the big push of the holiday season.
Yep.
Yeah, we were out in the yard then.
So.
Right before it snowed.
Yep. We were able to. And if you guys watched the video, and I had to take some Valium after I let Mr. Wiggles drive the mower. We mowed the neighbor's backyard. He was fighting me the whole way. He had that thing floored the whole time. That's all he wanted to do, go as fast as he could. The little shit. He's coming over tomorrow. Mr. Wiggles is coming, and we probably see some pictures. We're gonna decorate Mickey Mouse cookies, and I found a yellow. He's absolutely infatuated with yellow submarine. So I found a yellow submarine cookie cutter, and we're gonna decorate yellow submarine cookies, and we're gonna do Mickey Mouse cookies, and then we're also gonna make some cookies for the people at Walgreens. They really went through the grinder last week. I think Friday the people were out the door. They were so busy with the vaccinations, boosters and regular ones, they said. But we went in on Monday, and Kathy, works in a pharmacy, said Sunday they gave 120 shots, and it wasn't all boosters, but it was regular shots and boosters. So and while we were standing there waiting, what did they have, about 7 calls, Lisa? We were there 20 minutes, and it was just like the phone was ringing, and there were all calls about the vaccine, about COVID, about getting tested, and these people are all trying to do their job plus answer all these questions and that. So they are, it isn't just the people in the hospital. You got to think about like the people at CVS, Walgreens, and the other pharmacies that are going through the ringer. But
Tim wants to know if we can boost the audio on our end. I'll give it a try. We might be limited.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't have a big mouth, Tim.
I'm going to bump Bud up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not talking real loud, but...
And then you just give me a reply in there if you can hear him a little better.
Wow.
So hopefully. Thanks for letting me know, though.
And I got one more. Hopefully I can get out. I have a couple more places I got to get measurements for landscaping for next year. And there's been some people that ask us to do some stuff. Hey, can you do a design for me? I'd like to get this done. And there's no way we can do any more kind of jobs because I go Wednesday up to get our greens. So we're going to be in full-blown holiday mode. And I already listened to Christmas music today to let you guys know, full-fledged. So we can't do any more kind of landscaping. We're trying to get the maintenance part of it done. And the guys have really been nice, even working in a little bit of a drizzle and stuff today, a little bit to start out. But they work till 5 o'clock again tonight. So Quinn's pushing them to work a little longer to get caught up. So anyway, one of the other things since we're talking about landscape, I don't know if you guys saw this, Sterling Rock Falls Living we got in the mail the other day. That's the McFerrin home on the front, and you notice that beautiful landscape that's done by Distinctive Gardens crew. We did another part of that job this year there, but the bigger thing that I wanted to talk about is, it's probably been, the kids were, the Quinn and Josh got in on it, so they must have been their senior in high school, which has probably been 6 or 7 years ago, or a little bit longer even. Maybe that wasn't their senior year, but Scott Hibbard. I knew Scott from Dr. Herman's, where I met him out there when I was her private gardener. And then I got reacquainted with him when he redid the Royer home, which is across from Grennan Funeral Home. It's a really nice one with the fence on it. Anyway, they had it right up in the paper just like they did in this. And I thought, wow, I know Scott, that place doesn't have a stitch of plants around it. So I called him and said, hey, what about landscaping? And he goes, I forgot all about you, bud. And ever since then, we've worked together on I can't tell you how many projects we've worked together. And it's been kind of nice because it's really a trio that has worked together on numerous projects in our community. And we continue to do more stuff, but Denny Beck is another one. Denny does a lot of retaining walls, hardscapes. He's kind of getting out of it because Denny's about 4 years older than me, so it's it isn't easy on Denny lugging the stones and stuff like that. But he does a lot of the seeding and grading. We did the Morrison Hospital. I brought Denny up there to do that, and any kind of new land housing or building. Scott's brought Denny in to do stuff. He did a lot of stuff at the McFerrin home. He did stuff at Scott's house. Where else did we work? Denny helped me at Scott. got me hooked up with Corey Gabler because he's going to be building a pool house there, and then Denny helped us out there. So it's really nice. That's one of the things about being, I guess, connected, I guess, in your community with people, and it's kind of convenient. Scott really has adapted the whole package deal where he said, hey, we can do this and that, and we can even get your lawn put in, and if you want some landscaping done, we can do the whole thing. And he brings us in, and it's a really good working relationship. And in the same turn, I bring Denny to a job this week. The lady wanted her backyard. She asked me about it. I go, well, I don't do that, but I got a guy. So Denny went over there, and she was very impressed. She messaged me back and said, really nice guy. I liked his ideas.
Hey, you guys, thank you for letting me know. It looks to me like his receiver was bumped down, so thanks so much for letting me know.
It sounds better now?
I'm flying blind a little bit. I can hear on my end, but they were saying it was super soft. And what the problem was, I think we had him turned down from last week, maybe.
Wow.
So your
receiver
was down.
Sorry.
Thank you for keeping me honest.
Right.
Got a couple questions
Okay.
if you want to
Sure.
bounce back. Betsy's got another one. She wants to know when do I cut back peonies?
Oh, you can mow them off after they flower. My neighbor used to do that, and they flowered every year.
Okay. And then Linda's asking about the magazine. Is it mailed or available?
It's mailed, but I think you can get it. I think they have it put out at certain places and that. But and it's really nice because one of the things, if you read the article on here, what's really cool, there's two individuals. Scott worked on this, and then there's another gentleman that worked on the outside of this. But it's nice that they don't tear stuff down. That they're redoing the stuff, and some of those old stately homes are getting redone. And the landscaping too. I try, like when we did the Royer home, Scott had pictures of what it looked like and that. So we put hydrangeas in there, and those are old fashioned. We put boxwoods in there. He had a picture of a trellis, so he built the trellis, and I put a climbing rose on it because that's what they had there at the Royer home. So it's really fun working on projects like this. And when they restore the stuff, I don't know, it's just exciting to me. And the other person I got to meet there, and I didn't bring the picture with me, but it's about another connection, is at there was a carriage house built next to the McFerrin home, and Tom Luce owns all this property. And so if you're familiar with the name Luce, it has to do with plumbing. And that's what Tom has, Action Plumbing. But I was talking with him, and I hit it off with him really good, and we were talking, and I think it would be his great aunt, Pat Luce, and my mom were best friends. And I've got a picture, I've got it in my van, and I haven't run into Tom because he's pretty busy. But I have a picture of his aunt, and I wanted to show that to him sometime. I just thought it was really kind of cool, and there was a connection there of families. Well, my mom and Pat went out to California, and they traveled a lot. And when we went out to California when I was younger, we visited Pat, and she lived right near Fonzie, Henry Winkler. So I thought that was kind of pretty cool being a kid. So let me see what else. And you know what? I had a nice visit today. I gave Mark. We were able to get 10 4-foot wreath frames for him to be able to do his peace signs, and we lit ours. I don't know if you saw it on our Facebook page, that I did a picture of it, and it was the Packer colors. So, and it turned out really well. But Mark is he's a great individual, and he was telling me some stories about his peace signs and stuff like that, and how he's perfected it, and all the lights are sealed up, and it's not cheap to do. It's not an inexpensive thing to do, and what he sells them for, he does not really make any money for his time. He just makes enough profit to be able to put that into a pool where he can buy more materials to do it. So we donated the frames, and I'm trying to get him some other ones, and we're giving him the frames so he can keep doing what he loves to do. Great family, I had a great time, and he really is excited about another sip and trip. He wants to come on. He's got a story about the Cubs, and he's really into the baseball. I said that once before. He's got some interesting history of Major League Baseball in our area, so I thought that would be really cool for people that like such a lame sport as baseball. It's no,
All
there's
right.
no contact.
Stuart's giving you more grief. He said he's fallen asleep and that you're doing him a favor. It's working. He said it's working, that he's falling asleep. So there's Stuart for you.
Just make sure you're not driving, Stuart.
Carol wants to know what's the best time to cut back climbing roses?
You can cut them back now. What I like to do, and the clematis, there's, talking about climbing things, clematis and different vines, there's certain times they tell you to cut clematis back and that. I never cut any of that stuff back till spring. Because if we don't have a real hard winter and the clematis, hell, I've seen them leaf out and start new growth 3/4 of the way up. And you can really clean the dead off the clematis real easy and keep the new growth in that. But the same with the climbing rose. I mean, if you didn't want to do it, you wouldn't have to trim it back till spring. Maybe it wouldn't die back too far. It just depends on what the winter is supposed to be. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has heard anything, but the winter is supposed to be pretty rough.
Kind of like last year?
Last year wasn't bad.
Well, we had
The snow.
a lot of snow.
We bought a snow blower. So I figured we'd buy a snow blower, it wasn't going to snow. It's just like you buy a plow for the truck, it doesn't snow.
Guess again.
Yeah, whatever. Talk to the hand.
You guys got any more questions?
Yeah, you got any questions? Next week we got
Oh, you know what? You know what? It's someone's anniversary today. 50.
Linda Brown.
Yes.
Happy anniversary, Linda. I saw the picture. Wouldn't it be nice to be that young again?
55 years.
Wow.
Happy
almost
anniversary,
almost
Linda.
as old as I am. Not far away. 7 years. Wow, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
So do you think we're going to do
I think
week's?
next week, you guys, we're going to surprise. Mr. Wiggles is coming over tomorrow. And I tell you what, he took his class picture, and I don't know what the hell.
I'm going to go get it. You can
I
show
don't
it.
know what the hell happened.
Something possessed the child, and it was called Daddy.
I tell you what.
Daddy primed him for his school picture. And
It doesn't even look like him, and that's part of the
gonna go
deal.
get it.
We're gonna have him on, and he's gonna come in here, and we're gonna talk about different things, about what he likes, about Yellow Submarine, maybe Mickey Mouse. We might even have Mickey Mouse in here, but I don't know.
Child, go put that in there.
I don't know what the hell happened, but look at that picture.
Get it in there close. You got to see that snarky nose. Oh, up. Go up a little bit. There you go. Yeah. Thanks, Quinn.
That does not, I go, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like him. But anyway, the little shit, and what he said, he came after school, Quinn picked him up and he goes, Dad, we got pictures today. And he goes, I did a good face. And Quinn's going like, oh, Jameson, Mom said be nice. She wants a nice school picture.
Yeah.
And that, but Lisa said.
My guess is for the next 13 years, Quinn's going to be doing what Quinn's doing.
Lisa said it was a typical Lefevre, and I never remember at Woodlawn School ever having bad pictures. I was always smiling.
But he's like goading him on to make a silly face when he goes and gets his photo taken at school.
Yeah, I don't know what. I just know that I called Quinn last night after I saw that and said, what the hell happened?
Who is that child?
But so I got orders that when he comes over tomorrow to decorate the cookies, he said we had to get the gingerbread out, and I couldn't figure out. I go, I don't have a gingerbread house. Well, when Quinn was little, I bought this Mickey Mouse, Pluto, and I think Daffy Duck is in there, Christmas thing, and he saw it in the attic like last week, and he wants me. He goes, you got to bring that out, and I said, all right. So I'm going to set that up on the table as we decorate. We'll play it and that. So it's going to be a fun day.
Brian Edis says, careful, some people still have Woodlawn albums that they can find your picture.
Oh, I know. I've got them too.
Debbie's got a question for
Sure.
holiday season. She wants to know, do we order fresh greens online from you guys and pick them up?
Yes. And people, I tell you what, that's a good, thank you, Debbie, for reminding me to say this. But I got another order today for wreaths and I don't know if she got a pot or not. I have to call her back. But I got an order. Nancy and Chris Hammett gave me their orders today, and Lisa got one from, I think we have a couple in Rockford
Yeah, and
that
just,
we did.
just clarify, this is custom work. The online store is going to go live mid-November, just a couple weeks from now.
Right.
So if you want to order through the store, that's great. If you want a custom, just message the page.
Send us a message.
Either works.
Right, and if you have a container that you had annuals or stuff in and you want greens in it, now's the time to, cut the stuff off. If it's too big for you to bring in, message us and we can come pick it up and put your name on it, and we'll put greens on it and then deliver it back to you. Or you can bring it to the shop with your name on it and sit it out front. I know Tracy Rice will be bringing hers. I mean, she does every year and that. But anyway, the story I wanted to say that Ginger, she's from, around this area. Didn't get anything from, so I made wreaths for her. Quinn welded square wreaths for her, custom stuff and that. She's done wreaths with us for years. Well, last year with COVID, she didn't do anything, and she said she just got them in Rockford, and she said, you read it, Lisa, didn't it say like, the wreaths I got are nowhere near as good as the wreaths that you guys make and that. So she's ordering wreaths from us this year. And like I said, we cut all our own greens.
All right, another question.
Sure.
Vicki wants to know, when can we start to order for porch pots and gnomes? I have the frames for the gnomes. Vicki, we'll consider, since you have your cage for your gnome, that's a custom order. You can drop that off.
I've already got one for that too.
For Vicki?
No, I've already picked a gnome up.
Oh, a gnome cage?
Yep, they want us to redo it.
Yeah, so you could drop that off anytime, or if the guys or Bud are out and about, we can swing by and pick those up. Again, if it's a custom order, just go ahead and message the page and we'll look you up from last year and see what you ordered and make any changes, and then we'll get you going or get you in the line. And if you know what you want and it's on the store, you can do it that way as well. But for you, since you want to recycle that frame,
and if you have the hats and mittens,
yeah,
that's why I got the
hats and the mittens, that kind of stuff. You can drop those off at the shop with your name on it, or just message the page if you want us to pick it up.
Yep.
I hope that answers it.
Yeah, anybody. I mean, sometimes the pots are bigger. If they have
Yeah.
a Milano or something and they can't do it, we can pick the stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you drop it off at the shop, just make sure your name is on it and your phone number.
We're going to be starting all of the greens production. He goes and picks up greens
Wednesday.
on Wednesday.
I can't wait to drive up. It's 35 miles northwest
So
of Green Bay.
we're going to be rocking and rolling Thursday.
Well, probably Friday will be a more rock and roll day.
Well, it's
Thursday
just-
will be getting
We'll be
ready to
prepping,
roll.
setting up the greens. But
Yeah.
yeah, we've already started. We've got the houses ready to go for the holiday season. So
Oh, it was so fun.
it's here.
It's fun. I got the ornaments out.
It's here. We just want to wait until after Halloween before we really start talking about it.
I got
I got a thing about wanting to experience Halloween.
I've been
before we
listening
start
to the
talking about
Christmas music for months.
I know.
I listened to it today while I was doing invoicing. I had Jackie Gleason on.
Okay. You guys got any more questions? We're kind of laid back tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of that type of. It's dark
We
out.
decided to be inside because, oh my goodness, it's,
The wind. Ooh.
yeah, the wind.
That's what Quinn said today. He said it was very hard cleaning up because you'd try to clean stuff and the wind would blow it around and that. So
Yeah.
they did the best they could. They were wind whipped for 8 hours outside.
Mhm.
So
All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, we'll hang here a little bit because we know there's a delay. But
and like Lisa said, if you
we'll
guys
start to
got any questions
up.
about the holiday, wanting a wreath or what kind of wreaths, just message the page, message this video. We look at the stuff and we can answer your questions, or if you got anything that needs to be picked up or wanting, we can do that.
Yeah, and I think not next week's sip and trip. That's hopefully Mr. Wiggles. But the following one is when we're going to start to preview holiday, wreaths and pots, things that like.
Well, and I set up the garland machine. and I'm talking about it's a hand one. It isn't. I have to crank it. I set it up today, and we'll just see. I've never done it before, and I'm not making garland for, I need 45 foot of garland. These are something that I'm just testing out right now to see about making stuff for mantles or a center for a table for the holiday. I've never done it. So with this machine, I've done it by hand before, but I've never done the machine.
Hey, John, are you with us? I think people are getting pretty close to starting their weekend. We got a couple here that are signing off. Thanks, Jackie.
Thanks, you guys, for
Thanks, Tim.
showing up.
Yep, and Linda.
And thanks for the beer, Kirk.
Here we go. Here's our guy, Mr. Sacchetti, always queued
Hey,
up there
John.
for the show. Peace.
Peace, you guys. Take
and
care.
Love to all of you.
Hey,
Have a
remember
great weekend.
one thing: go pack, go. Right, Jim?
Alrighty. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys.
Thank you, guys. See ya.